Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Crypto Invest. I hope you had a great weekend. I certainly have. So let's start a new week with talking about Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is currently at an all-time high yet again. So as of last night when I woke up this morning, Bitcoin is currently at 11,700. This article says Bitcoin gained $500 in 1 hour, and it is sitting at 11,500. It's actually a little more than that now. So I do want to say that because Bitcoin price is so high now, $500 actually only come out to be around 4 to 5%, which could be considered as a normal fluctuation percentages daily for Bitcoin. However, it is at an all-time high regardless. So let's take a look at the chart and let's talk about what may cause some of the pricing action over the weekend. There are quite a few news relating to Bitcoin, and I want to walk you through the headlines. I'm not going to any news in particular, but I want to give you a sense of market sentiments. What are people talking about as far as how is that relate to Bitcoin price? So I want to take us back before the weekend. So let's talk about, say, Friday before the weekend. We did see a huge dip starting from 11,500. And by the way, I'm on Coinbase and I'm on the hourly chart. So each of the candle is 1 hour. So on Friday or Thursday last week, I should say, Bitcoin started falling from 11,500 all the way down to as little as 8,600. And then within the same hours, when it's fall all the way down to the 8,600, the buyer coming in and push the price back to 9,700, which is where it's kind of stabilized around 9,700 for 2 days. So it was trading up and down in that range. It's pretty tight, I would say, and pretty intense, because a lot of this move up and down surrounding 9,700 before the weekend, in my opinion, is mostly caused by retail investors, because you will know if there is a big trader coming in and making a big order, because you will see this huge dip and this huge gain. But a lot of this is emotional driven, because at the time there was not a lot of news that could really affect Bitcoin price, in my opinion. And the market is just basically pretty tense in terms of trading, and it's just waiting for some news coming out before it can decide to move up or move down. And in this case, you see that the market decided to move up starting by the end of Friday. And one of the main drivers for that is the fact that the CME, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, and the CBOE, which is the Chicago Board of Exchange, they have been approved for Bitcoin trading, and there is an official date now for December 18th. As you know, there was some uncertainty and doubt as to whether or not they will get approved, and secondly, whether or not they can get the exchanges for future Bitcoin platform up and running before the end of the year as promised. And it does seem like official announcement is December 18th. And here's the official announcement from the U.S. Commodity Future Trading Commission, published on December the 1st, which is 2 days ago. So that has quite a positive effect on the Bitcoin price, as the market is, in my opinion, at the time, it's just looking for some news, any news, and the news can be magnified in this situation where you have a lot of retail investors just not sure whether or not they should buy more Bitcoin or they should just sell their Bitcoin. And the news does really help the Bitcoin price moving up higher and higher. And there are a few other headlines that I think does contribute to the overall optimism of Bitcoin price. But before I move on, I wanted to give you a quick high-level explanation of how the CME Bitcoin future will work. I may have to do the whole video on this. This is a pretty light touch article on the Cointelegraph. If you want to know a lot more, I would suggest you go to NerdWallet to take a look at this article. I will link it to the description below, or go to Investopedia. They do have a much more thorough explanation. But the pretty high explanation of how this future contract will work for Bitcoin is that number one, you need to understand that they are not buying and selling Bitcoin directly. They just basically buying and selling and speculating on the derivative, and in this case is the future contract. So pretty high level. If you want to buy 5 Bitcoin currently, say Bitcoin is at 10,000, you have to put down 50,000 US dollars. But with a future contract, you may only have to put down 10% of that. So it would mean you only have to put down 5,000 for you to own a $50,000 of contract. That means that you are leveraging 10 to 1. So each time the contract is go up, say Bitcoin prices go up to $11,000, meaning Bitcoin gain 10%, you are actually making 50% of your initial investment. And the reason for that is because you are leveraging 10 to 1. So you put down 5,000 to own a $50,000 contract. So if each Bitcoin is going to 11,000, the whole value of the contract will also go up by 5,000. So this whole contract price is gonna be 55,000, and you only put down 5,000 to begin with, and that's called a good faith deposit, just like you would put down deposits for a house, for example, and you borrow the rest of the money from the bank. Something here, you put out 5,000 and you borrow the rest from the market to secure a $50,000 contract. So on a $1,000 gain, which is 10% gain, you actually double your money. My apology. So you're actually making $5,000 on your $5,000 initial investment. So that's a pretty high level. There's a lot more than that. There's a margin requirement, and there are tick, which is what is the minimum gain and losses that they will recognize at Bitcoin. And currently it is being set at $5. So Bitcoin, each tick will be $5. They will not recognize anything less than that. So if Bitcoin go from 10,000 to $10,004, the market will consider that 10,000. Only if the contract price is $10,005, that's when they can, basically put down on their counter system that you have one tick unrealized gain, which is $5. So I know that can sound a little confusing. I would try to find time to do a whole video on how the future contract works, not just for Bitcoin but for everything else, for those who are interested. But for now, we can move on. All you need to know here is that it is a very effective way for institutional or any trader really to come in with small amount of money and leveraging a larger amount of money. Now, obviously, this is a double-edged sword, as you know that if Bitcoin price moving up, meaning it's in your favor, you're gonna gain a lot of money very quickly. But if it's moving against you, say if Bitcoin price go from 10,000 to 9,000, you will lose all your 5,000 because you are leveraging 10 to 1. Each 1,000 will have to be accounted for, and the contract value is actually gonna go down to 45,000 because you are leveraging. Therefore, you will lose your entire $5,000 initial investment, and you are wiped out of the contract. So keep that in mind. It is a tool to leverage for big trader and institutional trader. Nevertheless, that's a very positive news. As you can see here from the price movement, that people looking at this as a very positive things, because now there's more tool for more people to use to basically use in their trading Bitcoin endeavors. So moving on to the next one is that there has been a huge surge in demand for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and one way to show this in terms of data is the fact that many exchanges went down because the server could not handle all the influx of traffic to their website. So the website server just couldn't handle that, and that's including Coinbase, including Gemini, including many other large exchanges, especially in THAM where there's a huge drop or there's a huge gain, when everyone is flocking to log into their account to either buy or sell, or new investors flocking in to get a new account for themselves. And here's another article from the Cointelegraph that's echoing the same thing that I just said to you. And Coinbase is getting pretty legitimate in my book. I mean, they have always been, but I think they have always been looking at as a alternative financial company. What I mean by that is that the market typically care about Coinbase in terms of alternative broker dealer sort of deal, because they're looking at more traditional broker dealer like TD Ameritrade or Fidelity or some of the large company as they held them as a high regards in terms of the legitimacy of a high profile company. But Coinbase is getting there. I mean, they have been getting more and more recognition. They are now having more account, if you can call that account, more wallets, if you would say, or more unique customer on their platform than Charles Schwab, which is a pretty big broker dealer in the USA and in some countries of the world. Now they are looking into expanding their operation. They have been hiring a lot. There's a lot of opening position in San Francisco and New York for Coinbase, but they are looking to get the former TD Ameritrade executive for the chief operating officer role. And this tells me many things. Coinbase has always want to be staying, they have always want to work with the regulators to make sure that they are fully comply with the US law. And now they are looking to tap into high profile executive of high profile company like TD Ameritrade. It shows me that they want to do this right. They want to make sure that they have the resources and the right people in place to run their operation. So moving on to the next topic I want to talk about is the Big Bang Theory aired last week. I had a chance to look at this episode over the weekend. So overall, I don't want to be too critical of the episode. It was a typical Big Bang Theory episode in my opinion, and if you have been learning about Bitcoin, you wouldn't learn anything new about Bitcoin on this episode. And the whole premise for this episode, I think it's just about the fact that they want people to know two things from this. I think a lot of an average viewer will learn two things from this episode. Number one is that Bitcoin price have risen a lot. In the episode, Bitcoin price was around $5,000, but now it is absolutely over that, right? It is at all-time high 11,700. So anyone who Google Bitcoin price after the episode will realize that Bitcoin has a continued amazing run from 5,000. And the second thing, they will learn something about mining with nothing technical, but they will learn about how Bitcoin, or I wouldn't say they will learn anything about how Bitcoin mining works. I think they would be aware that mining is the thing for cryptocurrencies. Regardless, I think this is very positive because this show estimated to have around 12.5 million viewers, and those viewers will, some of them I would say, will turn into crypto fanatics, that they will indulge themselves into this crypto verse that we are in, and a lot of them will become Bitcoin holder and Bitcoin trader. And if you are looking at the statistic, this is today's statistic on Bitcoin. My apologies. So let me fix this. This should be say Bitcoin, not Bitcoin. My apology for that. So let's see how this works. So this is the Bitcoin search term for Google Trend, and as you can see, there has been a steady rise in terms of popularity of Bitcoin. But if you take a look at this is quite a jump, right? From 42 point of the search engine for Google, how they rank it, all the way to 100. So we have about 100% gains in the popularity of the search term Bitcoin. And a lot of that is driven by the fact that you have the Big Bang Theory, you have the CME, you have the price surging, you have a lot of things working for Bitcoin at the moment. And it's really shown in number here. And if you take a look at the top regions that are searching the term Bitcoin, you will see Nigeria, South Africa, Slovenia, Ghana, and Bolivia. And some of the related topic that has a lot of interest as well is blind carbon copy topic, IOTA topics, fork software development, and the Ripple payment protocol. So interesting here to see that the related topic have a couple items here that is not quite related. Nonetheless, I just want to show you that there is a real interest in Bitcoin, and I don't mean that just take a look at what the Cointelegraph says. I want you to look at the real data, and these are real data that you can actually interpret for yourself. And the way I see it, this is very positive. That number one, exchanges could not handle the new user coming in, and the existing user continue to show interest on their platform. And this to show you that there are more and more people searching for Bitcoin on the internet. In terms of adoption, we do have some major news over the weekend. PwC, which is PricewaterhouseCoopers, which is part of the big four largest accounting firms in the world. It's Deloitte, Ernst & Young, KPMG, and PwC. So PwC now is leading the charge in terms of accepting Bitcoin payments in their Hong Kong office. So in Hong Kong, you can now pay the goods and services that you get from PwC consultant or PwC tax or audit services with Bitcoin. And this is just to further to tell you that you now continue to see new high profile company looking at Bitcoin as a legitimate asset, and that they are willing to accept Bitcoin as a form of payment. On the same line of topic, the rent payment application ManageGo is looking to add cryptocurrencies as a form of payment starting next year, and they're gonna do that by integrating Coinbase API, which is the programming interface, into their application. So you can no cryptocurrency will be held on the platform, but when you make a payment for rent, you can choose which cryptocurrencies that you have on Coinbase, and they will liquidate. The expectation right now is they will liquidate as the current most updated rate at the time you press the button, and then that will be sent over to your landlord, and not in terms of cryptocurrencies, but I think they would turn it over. They will liquidate either Bitcoin, Litecoin, or Ether, whichever way that you choose, and they will send the fiat payment over to your landlord. That's the expectation at the moment. I don't use ManageGo, so for those who are using ManageGo, let me know in the comment section below your thoughts on that. On top of that, you continue to see news article about how large Bitcoin is currently, and this article specifically talking about the fact that Bitcoin is now larger than GE, which is General Electric, a huge company that most people know about. Now, I do want to say that this kind of article is fairly misleading, and they not compare apple to apple. You are comparing Bitcoin market cap to a single company on the stock market. Granted, they are one of the largest, S&P 500 largest company in the world. But Bitcoin, in my opinion, is not a company, and it is really an asset class. You really should compare Bitcoin to gold or silver or any other asset like real estate to really show the magnitude of Bitcoin, which is really small right now compared to gold, because Bitcoin at 160 billion and gold is actually at around $7 trillion estimated. So that's the right way to look at this. And Bitcoin is now if you count by circulation, it is the 6th largest currency by circulation, because they currently have around 160 to 180 billion circulated in terms of US dollars. Couple other pieces of news that are interesting. I don't know what I make out of this is basically the fact that a reporter asked the press secretary, I think on Friday, about the fact that whether or not the Trump administration or the president himself is looking into cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin because of the exponential run that it has the last few weeks, and what are his thoughts on that. And the White House press secretary just saying that the president is aware of that and he is looking into it. No specific was given, but there was a topic that was discussed between the president and the Homeland Security team earlier last week. So that's just interesting. I wouldn't draw any conclusions from this until I know more information, but I thought you should be aware of that. And last, I want to talk a little bit about the fact that we in the investment sector, we look up to certain legendary investor. Carl Icahn is one of those legendary investors, and you also have Warren Buffett. You have a few others who speak in the past or currently quite negative about Bitcoin. And you gotta know that even though those are legendary investors, they are coming from a traditional mindset, which make them very successful, so more power to them. But they are like Warren Buffett and Carl Icahn really see and value investing, which means they value the earnings, they value the underlying assets of the company, they value the management team, and those are the main factors that they take into consideration when they do their evaluation of a company. Bitcoin doesn't have any of that. So that's why it's really hard for the traditional investor to understand how to evaluate Bitcoin. So that's what I like to point out regarding to this particular headline here, is that even though you have a famous legendary investor, he or she may not understand Bitcoin. And there's nothing wrong with that, because they may come from a very value and traditional thinking thoughts process would make them very successful, and they don't see the need to change it. More power to them, as long as it continue to work for them. So that's all I have for you. I hope that I explained to you well what is or what may be happening. No one really know what is happening in the market, as you know. No one know what is happening, and no one can predict what will happen. But this is my best take of what is happening. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, hit the like button, because your like does really help other people find the channel. And also subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any future video. This video is focused mostly on Bitcoin, but I am going to make another video that talk about Ethereum and some of the current news surrounding Ethereum and the price action and where we are heading in terms of 2018 for Ethereum. So stay tuned for that. And with that, thank you for watching. Take care, and I will talk to you later.